Hello, 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 and welcome once again to a Prog Reborn. My name is Kosler, and this is my progression style playthrough of Final Fantasy XIV. If you don't know what that means, you can always type an exclamation point intro into the live chat. It'll give you a link to the introductory video where I explain exactly what's happening with this playthrough. If you'd like to know the next time that I go live for one of these Prog Reborn streams, you can always join the community Discord, exclamation point Discord. Gets you that Discord invite. Both of those links you can find in the video description below as well. You can also subscribe to the channel. That'll get you notified anytime that I go live, whether it's for Prog Reborn or upcoming playthrough of Dawn Trail. Finally, even though this is patch 2.1, the content that I'm doing is patch 2.1. This is not a reaction playthrough. This is not my first time going through the majority of this content. So if you're worried about any sort of spoilers between now, patch 2.1, and the latest patch, patch 6.58, or you're worried about any publicly available Dawn Trail information, getting spoiled on that, if you consider those spoilers, then this is the opportunity to scoot on out of here. No harm, no foul, but I may or may not give additional warning whenever I'm about to talk about something that might be a spoiler. So consider this your one warning for that potential spoiler info. So what are we up to today? Well, since we last did our stream where we weren't actually able to go through the Yokai Watch stuff, and where we actually set up our house, I went ahead and continued to log in every once in a while to gather some treasure maps, trying to make sure that I have a pretty good swath to choose from before I work on that. But the only other thing that we have left, other than the treasure map stuff, is taking down Ifrit. So to do that, we first have to go get our quest from Urianger over in the Waking Sands. Head on over there. If you weren't watching last time, the reason that I'm not able to do the Yokai Watch quest is you have to end up in the Gold Saucer, and Gold Saucer wasn't available till patch 2.51 or something like that. So I consider that to be off limits. A little unfortunate because I really like the Whisper mount, but not a huge deal. Go ahead and make sure that we're all repaired up before we pick up this quest here. Ifrit ain't broke. Urianger seeks to prepare for the coming of the Lord of the Inferno. We are fortunate that the Lord of the Inferno hath yet to rear his horned head. I fear, however, that reports of his return will not be long in the coming. My quest for knowledge yet remains unfinished, but such a task can only be properly undertaken in a world unracked by chaos. Let us bow to inevitability and prepare ourselves for what will undoubtedly turn into another blistering trial. Pray visit High Commander Swift at the Hall of Flames in Ul'dah, and advise him that the fiery primal will likely soon be among us once more. Mayhap with a measure of foresight, we can lessen the impact of Ifrit's arrival. Everything to pull out. Okay. So back to Ul'dah. Bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. The Scions, your timing is most fortunate. Allow me to brief you on the situation. Both the Maelstrom and the Order of the Twin Adder informed us of their recent troubles with disturbingly powerful primals. And as these incidents ever occur in threes, we immediately sought to gather intelligence on Emulja activity. We lost contact with the first reconnaissance party assigned to the task. I then deployed one of our elite units to learn the fate of the missing scouts, but they also have failed to report back. In the most recent missive, my elite troops declare their intention to investigate the Bowl of Embers. Though they may have been overwhelmed by the Lizardmen, we must consider the possibility that the Lord of the Inferno has reclaimed his domain. It is with some measure of wounded pride, then, that I must request your aid. Assemble a group of your companions and strike into the heart of Emulja territory in southern Vanillin. If Ifrit has indeed returned, you are to banish him back to the Aether by whatever means is necessary. And you will likely have to renew your bond with the Zaharak Aetherite to enter the Bowl of Embers. The Lizardmen have undoubtedly realigned their crystal since you last felled their god. Unfortunately, that means cutting your way through a goodly number of their centuries to reach it. The Grand Company of the Immortal Flames is no stranger to sacrifice when it comes to battling the primals, but the struggle costs far too many lives, and it often creates a host of new timbered enemies. You and your unique talents, however, can spare the families of our soldiers that grief. I'll pass on news of your involvement in this mission to the Scions myself. If our primal fears prove substantiated, then I pray your efforts meet with success. Alrighty, gotta reattune, which means we gotta go to Little Alamigo. We're once again doing this later than my typical streams have been, because I think it is... Where the hell? Because I think it is more conducive to have a good run through. I'm talking like I'm still talking for that soldier. I'm more conducive for a good run for these clears. Doing it at night or evening time, depending on where you are in the United States, and on the weekend, all sorts of reasons why there'd be more people, therefore more likely to find more folks. Probably gonna be a change in my, not that I really had a schedule, but there's definitely gonna be a change in my potential stream times in the coming weeks. Some life changes happening, meaning that I can't do it during normal work hours anymore. Take that what you will. And I'm probably going to be off almost all of next week, regardless. Though I might, depending on whether I'm able to get enough, whether I'm able to max out my treasure maps, I might be able to squeeze something in next weekend to try and get those cleared. So with this, let's go ahead and create our next trial. Completion, beginner's first time, synced, not mine, clear of Ifrit EX. Beginners welcome. Let's have some fun. Everything else looks fine. Let this thing get out of the way. Yeah. Screenshot thing isn't working. Go like out, click outside, then come back in. Yeah, it works. Drop that in the synced Discord. Give me a second. A realm reborn. Ifrit EX. Cool. Back. Looking at our timer here, yeah, we still got a good 10 hours before we can pick up another map. So I think what we're just gonna do is let's just gather up some mahogany. Mahogany is one of the things we can turn in for leave quests. It's either mahogany or rosewood. I can't remember exactly what this is. Mahogany, cool. Other thing would be to mine up on shards. Gather up. Not necessarily mine. While we are waiting. Got, I don't remember what the schedule was. Couple more weeks until the job actions trailers drop. Be nice to see what changes there are. So even then, you're just gonna see sort of like big flashy changes. And for the thing that I'm most interested in, the big changes to Astrologian, whether or not that will be apparent in the trailer or the accompanying live letter, I don't necessarily know. Other than that, I've been taking my JP alt out for a little bit more of a spin. They are just about to be done with Stormblood. the main release. What is it? 4.0. Definitely feel the difference, just how fast things can go if you just straight mainline the MSQ. And honestly, just this is a character I made to help out somebody on their playthrough, so I'm not taking in the cutscenes and the flavor and any of that. Just skipping right on through, and it goes by fast. But you can also feel just the shift, even when you're just mashing through, and honestly, maybe even more because you're mashing through and you're not paying attention to the story. You can much more feel the shift from sort of traditional MMO trappings that you get in A Realm Reborn to essentially very close to like a visual novel that you get as you go deeper in. And I say that because, so I'm not a huge visual novel player. I have played a couple, especially back when I did a stream thing back when I was on Twitch. There was a large bundle that was sold that contained a lot of itch.io games in that bundle, and quite a few of them were visual novels, and I was just trying to go through as many as I could. Kind of got me into trying to do voices and all that, read through games and all that kind of stuff. As a stream activity. Prior to that, I was mostly doing speedrun stuff, and it would be very dry, no commentary, unless somebody popped into the chat, and I would engage with them. But other than that, it would just be me slamming my head against Link to the Past. But anyways, that's a digression. Haven't really done a ton of visual novels. I don't seek them out, but I'm not wholly unfamiliar with them. And even then, you can have, you know, non-just story gameplay in a visual novel. The story is the focus of something like a visual novel. But it's really broken. You can kind of break up these story segments with, you know, a little more of a gameplay segment. To me, that's really what Final Fantasy XIV kind of shifts towards as you get further and further away from A Realm Reborn. Anything in the sync and min eye level stuff? you really feel it in Endwalker as you're just sort of, you know, going from place to place, barely interacting with any of the mobs and enemies along the way. Every once in a while, the game forces you to fight like one or two things as part of the story, and then the major breakups in the story are your dungeons and your trials. But just so much of it is story beat to story beat. Now, how I even got on this convo was you can feel it more with more. This is subjective, but I feel like you can notice it quite a bit with if you're just plowing on through, because there'll be you're just sort of skipping cutscenes, mashing through text, skipping cutscenes, mashing through text, and you're just noticing that for quite a bit, if you're not engaged with the story, for quite a bit, your experience in the game is walking or, you know, getting on a mount, going to a location, mashing, skipping cutscenes, getting on a mount, going to a location, mashing through text, skipping cutscenes. Like, for Stormblood, there's so many, like, little quests in Rauger's Reach. There's so many little quests where you're running back to, Raubahn at some, you know, forward base to relay information about the Garleans. Running around to here, running around to there. Like, I just got through. I haven't completed. I stopped playing right as I was getting to the Alamigo dungeon. But there's that whole swath before where you make it to, I forget what the name of the cast. You take a couple of castrums along the way. Maybe I can actually see it. It might be hiding it from me. Oh no, it's not. Yeah, you make it to Aligiri. Incref's Hope. Yeah. Right. The Specula Imperatorius. And then Castrum Abania. Like, the big action set piece of there is just a cutscene. It is a cutscene of Cordola making the decision to, it's Cordola who does this, makes the decision to fire upon her own people in the Specula Imperatoris from Castrum Abania in order to attempt to slow the Alamigan Resistance's advance, plus sort of the unveiling of, I think that's when she, yeah, that's definitely when the unveiling of her artificial echo, the resonant echo happens, and that all happens in like one or two cutscenes. The destruction of the tower, the killing of Conrad, the unveiling of the resonant. And if you're just sort of skipping on through that, you just sort of go from, all right, I made it to this one town, I made it to Aligiri. Okay, now we're going to this tower. Oh, now we're trying to find survivors. And you're just like, what exactly happened here? I haven't really done anything. Naval Extreme. Unsynced Naval Extreme. Going on over there. Not too many folks wanting to engage with the naval, sorry, the Bowl of Embers. EX tonight. Let's see, how long is this? About 15 minutes. Thinking about the Dawn Trail. I think I mentioned this before, but I think my ultimate decision is going to be that I am going to play through it on stream. It's just not going to be under the Prog Reborn heading. I'll probably just have another playlist for it of my playthrough going through there. I did Endwalker on stream as well until about, I don't know, until about halfway into Elpis, and then I finished it off stream. Just because I got busy with real life stuff. But that was also quite a bit after it had already, you know, it wasn't during the peak, the launch window, whatever you want to call it. I was still working my character through the game, because I've mentioned before that I started, I got back into Final Fantasy during the time that they weren't able to make any sales to new players, because I had already had a service account. I was able to just get started. So it was a little bit after most people had already cleared it, and I had already seen everything that happens, probably multiple times by that point, in Endwalker. So I wasn't really worried about spoilers or anything like that, because there wasn't anything to spoil. I had spoiled myself already. I don't know if I would be as nonchalant about spoilers should I be trying to go through during launch window, or early access or anything like that. I mostly personally don't care about spoilers. considering how I went through Endwalker, knowing everything that was going to happen. But considering this is the start of a new adventure, if there was some like huge swerve, stuff that's going on with Solution 9, that kind of stuff, like knowing where exactly Solution 9 comes from, whether it is another ASEAN location, or, which I doubt it is, or whether it's something related to Mach, whether there was a rival society back in ancient times that the ASEANs/ancients didn't interact with, or perhaps like immediately post Sundering, folks from sort of an ancient enclave got set up over there on the New World, and because of the great distance and sort of the loss of technology from the folks in Eorzea and the 3 great continents, it just was a sort of, you know, divergent evolution of cultures. The name Solution 9, however, doesn't make me think that it's something where it's like it makes you think that it's like an arc. And when I think of arcs in Final Fantasy, there are several notable arcs. There's Nyenkrypt's Hope. For the Sharlayans, there's the Void arc for the Maki. And the prevalence of, or the predilection for the Maki to create these sort of arc locations along with the color scheme, basically, makes me kind of hint toward Solution 9 being another Maki location, but the naming scheme, calling it something like Solution 9, and the actual technology behind it, you know, Mach derived its power from interfacing with the 13th, with the Void, you know, black magic and all that kind of stuff. Everything that we've seen from Solution 9 and all that stuff in Northern Peral seems to me like future tech. Very technological, rather than sort of like Eldrick, or if not Eldrick, then yeah, if not Eldrick, then occult technology. you know, siphoning power from these otherworldly void creatures. That to me feels different than a couple folks doing synced naval. Interesting. Pop up on here. No. Could consider joining just to do it, but I'd rather continue with my my bit here. If it's not the Maki, then if it's not the Maki and it's not the Asians or the Ancients, then I don't think that it's related to anything that we know yet. I would doubt that it is Garlean in any sort of in any nature. Garlean tech is much more mechanical in design from what we see. Feels much more like 1990s tech. Maybe even 1980s tech. If we're trying to be analogous to the real world. Like you see in you know, destroyed Garlemald, you see literal cars. They're like weirdly small for how big Garleans end up being, but it is cars. They have trains, but so do the Eorzeans. And then all their Magitech stuff, you know, is much more lumbering, not very sleek. Very mechanical looking. In comparison. None of the nations, city-states of Eorzea have any technology that looks like that. Oh, the other part would be, not the Asians, what's... Alligans, right, Alligans. There are some bits of Alligan tech that is sleek. But there's, from what I remember, I don't really hear, I haven't really heard much or read much Alligan writing of the New World, of Tural. From what I remember from Encyclopedia Eorzea is they kind of start in Eorzea. They conquer the three great continents. Ilsabard, authored in Eorzea, and then attempt to, or are in the process of conquering Mericidia. Bahamut stuff happens, and the Dalamud stuff, and all that. The color scheme doesn't seem correct. There's a lot more black and red from what I recall of Allegan tech compared to like the predominantly purple that you see in the glimpses of what we get in Solution 9. And I would find it hard to believe, given how much we do know now about Allegans, that we wouldn't have seen any sort of reference to the New World. In our many interactions with the Allegans. Granted, in the history, the fictional history of Eorzea, the Allegan civilization for a very long time was considered myth. And only after Saint Koinok of the Sons of Saint Koinok uncovered ruins of the Allegan civilization in Mordona, does anybody really believe it? And that happened, I believe that happened sometime during the existence of the city-state of Ul'dah, which means it's sometime within either the 6th or 7th astral era. Well, no, it would have been, because we're in the 7th astral era right now. So I think that happens sometimes within the 6th astral era. And I think we have a pretty good recorded history of what's happened in the 6th astral era. And it's only been like I have to look at the timeline again before I make a big statement, but I think it's only been a few hundred years. So in the scheme of things, we sort of barely known of the existence of the Allegan Empire, even though we we have made and continue to make pretty significant strides into learning about the Alligans. We do discover new things. About them, so there could be, you know, we start up Dawn Trail, we do some stuff in Tural. Perhaps we, you know, the start of Dawn Trail is mostly about, you know, vying for the throne. Perhaps we win the right to succession. We win Wuklamat, her right to succession from Galul Jaja. Galul unveils a secret about, you know, since Wuklamat is to be leader, Galul Jaja then starts unveiling secrets about Tural that, you know, as ruler, you sort of keep on the down low. That leads to us learning about Alligan involvement on the New World. Something like that. We gain access to some tombstones that has recordings of Alligan involvement in the New World. I think that would be a pretty dumb way to go about it. I think a lot of that can happen. But even then, I think that it doesn't fully make sense. Because some of the, I forget what they named the location. But some of the locations that we go to are, you know, a meeting of current day technology and whatever civilization makes up Solution 9 technology. Or meeting sort of like a stark dichotomy of those two technologies. Which to me means that it's a settlement. And if it's just a full-on settlement, got a group running synced extreme trials every weekend. Hit me up if you're interested. Second. Maybe some other time. Just trying to do Ifrit EX. Hard to fully explain to people what exactly I'm doing here without sort of explaining the entirety of a Prog Reborn and whatnot. If I say, oh, I just want to do Ifrit EX for clear, like, well, then why don't you just do it unsynced? or like this person is talking about doing these EX clears every weekend. Well, I'm not really going to be a part of that. I'm only doing this once and then moving on. I would feel like I'm taking advantage of them if I were to join up and get them to do Ifrit EX and then just ghost them. Because that's essentially what I would do. I would not be joining in whatever new adventure they're going on, etc., etc., etc. Where are we at? We're almost at 1,000 mahogany. How much time do we have left on here? If it reaches the full time limit and we don't hit anybody, then we're probably just going to call the stream there rather than put up the PF again. Try again another day. But like I said at the start of if we do have to try again another day, then it would probably be not until, unless I try to boot up again tomorrow, which I don't know if I will. Probably wouldn't be until sometime next weekend. Hey, got some folks. Hello. I wonder if there's going to be folks who are mostly doing Yokai Watch stuff right now, rather than anything else. I can't remember the exact day that we did the naval. Last stream was the housing stuff, plus clearing out all the side quests. it was whatever was happening before that, which means there would have been folks that wouldn't have been able to be doing these Yokai Watch fate events. Trying to divine why or why not a particular day takes a while or doesn't work out versus a day that gets cleared quickly, etc., etc. We hit 2K. So let me go to Middle Inertia. So where's this 20? There are grade 50s. Is it something that was it a botanist? It must have been botanist. Yeah, grade 50 trees. Okay. Asking about if anyone's a first timer. Yeah, I kind of lost my train of thought now that we've had folks coming in to the PF. See what we're talking about. Right, potential civilizations that could have created Solution 9. Our options are the ancients. Of civilizations that we know, our options were the ancients, which to me doesn't seem correct. I feel like the entirety of the ancient civilization would have been gone, and if there had been a part of the ancient civilization that didn't get destroyed, then some point during the there would have been some mention of it by one or more of the interested parties, one or more of the ancients that we interact with. It wouldn't have been all doom and gloom about their society from Emmett if, during his travels, his many travels, he stumbles across an enclave of his brethren, right? The Alligans, the technology seems similar in design, but not in scheming and colorization. And we know quite a bit about the Alligans, and it seems as if most of their interactions have been either on Aldenard, Ilsabard, or Othard, or Mericidia, not into the New World. It's not to say that it's impossible for that to be Allagan Enclave. There is some reference to Levin energy, and if I'm remembering correctly, the Alligans themselves were, well, the Crystal Tower and all that was yeah, the Crystal Tower and all that was the catalyst for the Umbral Calamity of Lightning, if I'm remembering correctly. So there's some sort of thematic play that it could be Allagan related. But I just feel like we would have had a little more hinting that would have been the case in the lead up. And maybe I'm just sort of wish casting that it's not going to be Allagan related, given that so much of, sort of like unknown technology that we deal with in Final Fantasy XIV is just, oh, the Allagans did it. How much time do we got left on this? 7 minutes. I'll give them a heads up. Okay. Only got 7 minutes or so on my PF before I'd have to re-up it. Boom, boom. For joining. I might keep it in queue. I don't know. We've got that one person, that one tank, who looks like they would join, but didn't want to hang around the PF. More folks joining up. Bit worried that we are competing with folks. From that other PF. Folks who would be interested in doing ARR extremes. Other option, continuing down my line of thought, other option were the Maki. That's almost exclusively based off of the color scheme. That sort of deep purple is reminiscent of the stuff you'd see in the Void Arc, but the technology, the design of the technology is far more sleek in Solution 9 than it is for the Maki. Even though I think it would be interesting to explore a different one of these ancient civilizations. One of these other known ancient civilizations. To me, the Maki probably seem like the least likely. And then finally, something entirely unknown to us at this point. Related entirely to Tyrol. Possibly even something that would be... related to our, to like possibly even another shard. That migrated to the source in some way. Predilection for lightning, all that kind of stuff. Got two new people that joined in. Probably no more than That would be pretty interesting. I honestly had not really thought about another shard being responsible for Solution 9 until now. I think that would be pretty interesting. It could explain the vastly different technology that we see. Could explain the abundance of particular ethereal energy. Hello. Might actually get this thing going. Type it in the synced Discord. Synced in mine Discord to see if anybody wants to join up. We're so close. Let me just double check. Pretty sure Ifrit's fairly easy. Separation. Switch. Corruption, sure. Searing wind. Right, the thing that I mostly remember is the nails. When they explode, they give you a suppression stack. We are. Cool. Let's get in and going. Let's see. Trials. Limber's Extreme. Alrighty. Nails. I got fucking owned by HH over there. Got owned. Two. Dead there. Everything's blowing up. Healers. What is this? Headers. together. Alright, the separation's down. I'm gonna break apart. I think that's dead. Boom. Do we even have any food? No. Don't blow up this other one quite yet. Okay, okay. everything got reset. Not much I could do there. I had to stay next to him. And stay away from him. Somebody asking a question. Still asking about it. Switch separation stats. Bum, 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 Here's BRBing. Guide real quick. I wonder, is there a way to know where the, not hellfire, the plumes are? for. GG's. I mean, I'll read it. Ifrit was reborn with the strength of 1,000 raging infernos, and yet you vanquished him. I can offer you naught but praise, bringer of light. Ever prepared for confrontation. Good. Those instincts serve us as well as they serve you. What meaning hides within this constant pursuit of greater strength? Have you paused to dwell on its significance? However you might choose to justify your actions, it seems you have tested the very limits of these 3 primal avatars. Again, such furious response. Do we not make ourselves clear? As amusing as such might prove, we do not come to trade blows with you. This meeting is at an end. We must thank you for a most enlightening display. As we have learned much. The destiny we seek draws closer, ever closer. How much longer can you stem the tide of darkness, bringer of light? How well will you fare against the next god to reawaken? Oh, they already all bailed. Oh, cool. We're through there. Took a bit to get started, and we had some difficulty getting through that last phase, but we got there. All within one lockout, so I'm happy about that. So the Infernal Primal had returned after all. It is well that you set out prepared for the worst. Come now, M. Let's describe your epic encounter in detail that we might revise our tactics for future engagements. Any information could prove useful. Same bone thing. Well, now this is an ominous relic. While the Amalja are known for their barbaric trinkets, I sense something is different about this one. I see, so it is the third such object you have discovered within the domain of a primal. It certainly seems feasible that it played a role in Ifrit's enhanced volatility. Return with your trophy to the Waking Sands and pray bid Oriange to continue his investigations. Our eternal gratitude to you both. Alrighty, Vesper Bay. Roll across through. Delete that one message. Get going. Once we turn this in, we will only have the treasure hunts to deal with. I'm glad we were able to get this done in one stream. It was looking pretty grim for the first nearly hour of the stream. Seeing anybody join up. A report from the immortal flames hath flown before thee. Dost thou return once more, bearing a curious tool of ritual magics? Ah, yes. It doth most closely resemble the others in form, and I dare say in function. The bone is, of course, a Malja in origin. The servants of darkness revealed themselves to thee. I am put in mind of Archon Louis Soir's words. Yet ever shall primal desires burn. For burn they shall, with the Ascians ever toiling to stoke the fires. We are fortunate. Their careless taunting hath provided us with certainty, where before there existed only conjecture. It is unfortunate, however, that thy actions serve the Ascians' purpose so well. Whenever thou slayest our primal foes, the beastmen seek to raise ever more ferocious gods. And now it seems their ceaseless ambitions are answered only by living sacrifice. Each ritual object thou didst recover is a manner of focus, a tool fashioned from the bones of a willing worshipper. Its foci contained the vast etheric power generated by the fervent prayers of a beastman zealot in the moment of his death. This power was then poured into each primal during the rite of summoning, thus giving rise to the augmented avatar thou didst engage. To free us from the threat of the primals in truth, we must needs discover an escape from this endlessly escalating cycle of conflict. Such an answer will not, I fear, be readily attainable. So as long as understanding eludes us, there is no recourse but to continue with the slaying of primals. The ether they invariably hoard must be released back to the land. As the beastman deities wax ever more potent, it is a sad necessity that the nurturing of thine own strength cannot be ignored, an action that thou must take, though it doth quicken the plans of the paragons. One of the paths to inexorable might hath ever been the pursuit of sturdy arms and armor, and that endeavor I may be able to assist thee. Ifrit ain't broke. Alrighty. Hustle with gods. Needs to acquire superior arms. Let me make sure that this isn't something that we need to do. If it ain't broke, hustle with gods. Oh, this is something we need to do. Then next one is primal focus. But that's a repeatable quest, and that's for getting more gear. Let's finish off these quests before we finish it off. Oriange wishes to introduce you to a means of acquiring superior arms. If thou art to weather these constant clashes against ever more potent primals, thou must perforce arm thyself with extraordinary weapons. I have concluded negotiations with one Rowena, a merchant who doth abide at Revenant's Toll. In exchange for the ritual objects thou hast collected, she hath promised to provide thee with a selection from her stock of unique armaments. Why wouldst she consent to purchase these unsavory trophies? It is a simple question of infamy. Certain of her clientele are like to salivate at the very thought of possessing such forbidden items. Few who can lay claim to the ownership of a ritual tool employed in the summoning of a primal. There is no cause for alarm. Any power the objects once held has long since been surrendered to the summoned deities. Unless thou worry on my account, I have gleaned from them what wisdom we required. I return to thee thy hard-won prizes. Hie thee to Revenant's Toll in Mordona. See them swiftly into Rowena's hands. Mordona it is. Greetings, adventurer. So you're the one as hopes to trade some primal curiosities, are you? I forgot what I had for Rowena. Orianges guarantee their authenticity. So why don't you tell old Rowena here? Why don't you let old Rowena here have a look at these ritual objects of yours? Carved from Beastman's bones, just like he described. Well, I'd be lying if I said these trinkets didn't make me skin crawl like a dynamite on me undergarments. In case you misunderstand, that's an expression of high praise, lad. My customers will be gutting each other in the streets for a chance to purchase your trophies. Show them to Lariana, my acquisitions officer, and she'll walk you through the transaction. I wonder if these are better than the relic weapon at this point. Gods damn you, Rowena. You promised me a life of excitement in the exotic land of Mordona. Here I am, stocking your shelves like a trained op... May I help you, sir? Ugh. What in the seven unholy hells are those gruesome things? Beastman ritual tools? You adventurers and your penchant for stowing the most disgusting souvenirs in your packs. Ugh. That goes twice for Rowena for wanting to stock the stuff, and thrice for her addled customers for begging to buy. But that's neither here nor there. Whatever it is that drives you folk also fills my purse with coin. Now, where you seeking to trade for aught in particular? Ah, the special weapons we deal in, is it? Here, take a few of these tokens, and you'll be able to exchange them for any arms you fancy. If you're one of those completionist types, then you'll no doubt want an entire armory of those things. Just bring me another set of those stomach-churning ritual tools, and I'll see you rewarded with more tokens. Let's hop to it. Right, so here's where I can do primal focus. So where exactly do we turn these in? Let me look this up real quick. Turn those in at Alina. This lady. For token exchange. Right now that's level 90 versus level 90, so the exact same. A try on if we comparison, there we go. Direct hit, I mean, the dual hockey is probably a little better, but I don't really care. The Balmung. There's no glowing effect either. Just gonna hold on to him. Cool. Now we're done with any and all quests. 2.1. So the only thing we have left is the treasure hunt stuff, but we will do that another day. Let me go ahead and mark off our checklist here. All of Embers Extreme, all available trials complete. So the only thing that we have left is the treasure hunts before we can go on to patch 2.2. Cool deal. That's gonna do it for me today. Thank you so much for watching. If you wouldn't mind leaving a like on the way out, I'd be greatly appreciative. As always, if you want to know next time I go online for one of these Prog Reborn streams, you can always subscribe to the channel. Easiest and best way to get those go live notifications. But if you want to get them in another way, you can also join the community Discord, !Discord in the live chat, or find that link in the video description below. Yeah, so today, quite a lot of cooking while we were waiting for a group to go into battle with Ifrit, but we eventually did get a group to go in and did get our clear. So one step closer to finally getting into 2.2 and putting together my thoughts on patch 2.1 video. And yeah. Cool deal, cool deal. Not much more to say. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you